Welcome to the OT. I'm Elise Jesse. It is championship week, or as Jesse Bates put it to me today, it is hats and shirts week. The Cincinnati Bengals going to Kansas City and looking for their second straight AFC championship on Sunday against Kansas City. The Chiefs are a very good team. They know this. They are one of the most efficient offenses in the league. They average 6.4 yards per play, which is first in the league. But I wanted to focus on the Bengals offensive line because a guy that has been put in a really tough position, I would say the last month or so, is offensive line coach Frank Pollack. The last 3 weeks leading into Buffalo, each game, he would lose an offensive lineman. He loses La'el Collins, then he loses Alex Kappa, then he loses Jonah Williams, and he relies on the next man up to step in, be prepared, know what they're doing, and make sure that they execute and keep Joe Burrow upright. And that's exactly what they did. Not only did they keep Joe Burrow upright in Buffalo with 1 sack, they also had a heck of a run scheme. And we talked about that this afternoon, Frank and I did. The Cincinnati Bengals were able to rush for 172 yards. Joe Mixon giving the offensive line his game ball. But I was able to talk to Frank and just kind of pick his brain on why he moved Jackson Carman from guard to tackle, or why he is so confident in his group to go out there, even though leading into the Bills game, everyone was doubting his position group. Here he is.
In 3 consecutive games, you lost a lineman in each one. How tough was that for you as a coach going into the week against the Buffalo Bills and playing in Buffalo?
I mean, it's nothing new in the league. I mean, that's kind of what's expected of coaches and players in the league. I look at it as more of an exciting opportunity for some of the young guys to step up and show what they can do on a great stage in Buffalo, in the playoffs, in the snow. I mean, on the big stage. That was exciting. And that's always the approach we take, and the guys did a great job.
So the Bengals released that video, I don't know if you saw it, of you talking to your linemen when they were sitting on the bench towards the end of the Buffalo game, and you were just saying, you seemed really proud. You had this big smile on your face, and I think everybody else had a smile on their face watching you.
Yeah.
What was it like in that moment to watch your guys go out and execute the way they did with everyone doubting them in that game?
Right. It was exciting. I'm real big on mindset and kind of mastering the mundanes, kind of how I phrase it. And those guys went about that from the first day of the week in practice to prepare that way, and it rolled right in through the game. And I was extremely proud of how those guys performed and produced for each other. And, it just speaks to the volumes of the kind of character we have. Football character is really high on this team in the locker room. And that starts with the head coach and Duke and the players they bring into the building, and the O-line just an extension of that.
How involved are you with bringing in new talent? I know Ted Karras signed here in March, so he's been here less than a year, which is crazy to think about because he's such a leader. But how involved are you? Like, do the scouts bring you tape and you watch it, or do you bring them tape, vice versa? How does that work?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, depending on if it's college or pro. And they do a great job funneling down the top guys that we want to target, knowing that what we're kind of looking for. And so we're getting honed in on kind of the more of the bullseye as more of a scattered shot out there. It's just fantastic. Duke and his crew does a great job on that. And those guys narrow it down and they say, who do you like the most? Rank them. And it's kind of it's a collective effort. It's the same process, I believe, with every position group on the team. And then there's a few people that obviously have major input in that, starting with ownership, the GM, the head coach, and the position coach. And you come to consensus with all of Duke's crew on what fits us the best and what we're looking for, and we move from there. I mean, football is such a great sport and business because it's the ultimate team game.
Right.
You got to have all 11 guys on the same page. There's no different than in the building. So everyone's on the same page, working to move in the right direction together, and you have great results like this.
Yeah, I mean, competing for an AFC championship on Sunday, the second consecutive AFC championship on Sunday is incredible. And I want to talk to you for a second about Jackson Carman. I believe it was Brian Callahan who said that around midseason you guys bumped him out to tackle. What made you guys decide to put him on the outside of the offensive line, first of all?
He was probably maybe a little bit earlier than midseason, but That was always been the plan for Jackson when we drafted him, that he's a guy that we felt could come in and compete for guard, but if that wasn't a spot for him, we're bumping the tackle. That's been said day one. We had a position of need last year at guard, and so, hey, we drafted him in the second round. Let's see what he can do there. And so we're just kind of staying with that same thought process. And so since Cordell's been excelling, and now it's like, well, Jackson's going to start to practice more outside and be honing those skills, learning that position, and having a chance to compete down the line. And you watch him, he's been doing nothing but that, competing every day in practice, working the right way, putting his head down, going to work, and just absorbing it all, and gotten better every week. So it's been fantastic to watch. He's really grown as a pro, both mentally and physically, as far as skill sets this year. It's been fun.
What is it like for you as a coach when you are teaching a guy over and over, whether it's fundamentals or the scheme that you want them to run, you want them to execute, when it clicks for them?
Yeah.
When you notice that, okay, they grasp it, they understand exactly what I'm looking for. What is that like for you?
Oh, it's rewarding. I mean, that's what your role is as a coach. And what's been really fun this year also is having some of these older veterans mentor these younger guys. So bringing in LC at the tackle spot, Cap at the guard spot, and Ted at the center spot. Those guys have done an outstanding job also mentoring all these young guys at those positions along with me and Coach Frazier. So that's really when you know you got something good, when the whole room is on top of that kind of stuff. I've been with some similar rooms at other places that had that kind of atmosphere, and this has been fantastic in that regard.
And one more thing on Jackson Carman before we move on. His ability to just be so patient and powerful, especially on that first touchdown to Jamar Chase in Buffalo. When you were watching that from the sidelines, what went through your head? What was your reaction when you saw him execute so well for that play to come about, to happen?
Yeah, he is very gifted athletically, and he's off the charts on all those traits, and that's why he was drafted in the second round. So it jumped out. And when you're playing at such a high level in a competitive game like that, where your opponents execute obviously at a high level, that's why they're in that game too. It's just great to see it all come to fruition, and then being able to protect and pick up stuff off the edge the way he did in that game, and some of the run stuff too. The finish on 49 on one of them crack toss plays was fantastic to watch too. So that was more of the nastier stuff that I like on the finish.
Speaking of the run packages, Callahan told everybody yesterday that you designed the run game, the run scheme against Buffalo on Sunday. How much time do you spend on the run packages, and how much time do you spend collaborating with Justin Hill, with Brian Callahan, Zach Taylor, so that you guys can all form a plan together? Right.
It's a great question. Every week I take the lead on the run game and grind on it. Sometimes I get started on Saturday for an opponent, and it's all day Monday and a big chunk of Tuesday. And throughout those days, I'm hitting different individual coaches, whether it's pitcher with the QBs or James Casey with the tight ends, or Troy with the receivers, or Jay Hill with the running backs. Sometimes I'll hit up Brian to get some RPO thoughts, like what's a better throw if I need to throw off this particular defender. I'm trying to manipulate this guy. So you're constantly collaborating, trying to, all their areas of expertise, or how do you feel? Are you comfortable with your guy? Am I asking him to do too much? You think he can do this or not? And if you get good feedback, then you move forward, you keep putting together the plan that way. And then we meet together, Brian and Zach, myself, and Coach Frazier, to kind of fine tune the final list that way. Then we present it to the rest of the staff, and it goes through one more little tweaking. Hey, I'd rather have this personnel deal, or can we maybe tweak this formation because it'll put this guy in that spot. I feel better about him doing that. So that's kind of the process we take here, and it's been fantastic. And then we'll even tweak a couple things and clean it up all the way up until Saturday if we need to. You always reserve the right to make the game plan perfect all the way up until kickoff. So
I love your answer, because I don't think I've ever heard a coach talk about everything that goes into just planning a run ever in my life. But I mean, the passing game, you've got Joe Burrow under center. He gets the ball out quickly in 2.5 seconds. Great at securing the ball. How much does it help you when he's able to get the ball out as quickly as he does? I believe he's one tick behind Tom Brady, who's the fastest to getting the ball out right now.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, the faster the ball comes out, the less pressure and hits. But that allows us to be aggressive with our set angles as well.
Yeah.
Try to flatten the pocket out as much as possible, be way more aggressive than if he was going to be back there holding it for a real long time. So that just allows us to be able to attack the defense as opposed to receiving the rush, attack the rush with our set angles, and then just opens up his windows and throwing lanes. So it's all, like I said, football's so great that way because it literally on offense especially takes all 11 guys to be humming. We're each a cog in that wheel. If it's not fitting right, then you're not going to get the success that you want or need. So once it's all grooving, it's fun to watch and be a part of.
They like to blitz Trevor Lawrence, especially when he drops back. I believe there were 10 dropbacks that he had, and they were blitzing him and setting an extra rusher. Do you expect that same type of scheme to come at you guys, or do you think it'll be completely different? Do you guys expect something totally different than what you've seen on film from them? Yeah,
I mean, most teams, and the Chiefs are no different. They have a DNA. This is what they do. This is their package. But then they're going to have some wrinkles, some game plan special wrinkles for us, and you're always preparing for that. I mean, Joe Burrow is the best in the business as far as making teams pay when they do that, which is fantastic. I love when teams pressure us because it opens up gaping holes down the field for him to exploit with our receivers. And we've got the best guys in the business to do that. So, which makes the ball get out quicker, which is all, it all works together that way. But they'll have something different. We prepare, and you're always ready to adjust on the sidelines. But Coach Callahan really takes the lead on the protection as far as how we want to handle some of the unique pressures and what our adjustments will be. And we had that meeting last night as a staff, so it's one of the things that we do there. But we were always, I feel like we're really prepared in that regards as well, and on the same page. It's been fantastic, and they'll have something. I mean, it's just natural, so it is what it is. I mean, we'll adjust if we need to. If not, we're prepared for it.
Well, yeah, it sounds like you prepare and you go an extra step to have quizzes for your offensive linemen.
Oh, yeah.
How much does that help them with, their preparedness, their confidence going into each game? They seem like they are ready for what they're facing every week.
Yeah. You did homework on my quiz on Saturdays?
Slightly.
Yeah. Every week we do a quiz in the online room on Saturdays. It's kind of my summary. I'm not a big fan of handing out big summary packets. Usually it just kind of gets tossed to the side, especially if it's really thick, full of great information. So I stole this from another coach I worked with years ago, and I thought it was fantastic because it's a video quiz, and it's basically a big summary on the entire game plan from an O-line perspective, and they've got to stand up in front of the room, run the tape, and coach the entire room on all the spots and the adjustments. And what it does, and we have a bracket, and to see who comes out the winner. And there's an incentive, a fun incentive every week for the winner. But what it does is it makes them understand the big picture and then drill down to the minutia of each position.
Okay.
So the more they know what the guy next to them is doing, they understand and they can know their position better in the adjustments. And then it also puts pressure on them to be accountable to their teammates. Nobody wants to get in front of that clicker on Saturday and not know what to say or do. And the other team's like, this guy doesn't even know what the hell's going on, what we're doing. And so peer pressure in that regards is the best motivation. Because nobody wants to be that guy in the locker room, especially in that O-line room. And then, what's even greater, it gets competitive. And then guys start calling out all the little adjustments and nuances and small details that he forgot to say, or so it just makes the room learn it because they're hearing it again, or they may pick up something new. It allows me to get one more time, another deep dive into this adjustment issue, and then they compete. And then when it's over, they're still competitive on our walkthrough about who won the quiz, or you forgot this, I can't believe you messed that up. They don't talk like that on a summary sheet.
No.
So
it's
the best thing ever. And like I said, I took it from another coach I worked with years ago, and just to see how it works out is fantastic. And the questions that they draw their own questions, I don't choose.
Oh, nice. That's
they pull numbers and they gets the question, and it's amazing. I'm telling you, the man upstairs is an O-line coach because he always, the guy that needs the question the most tends to somehow get that question. It's unbelievable. And I've been doing this for a lot of years, and that's how it always comes up. But it's a really fun deal. And I just think it helps guys in a fun way lock in the game plan from our perspective and really understand it and grasp, and one more chance to really maybe pick up something new they didn't get through the whole week. So, and the backups, are accountable to the guys if they need to be called upon that way as well. So.
I love it. I love that method that you have with the testing. It sounds like it's a really fun day on Saturday.
Oh, it's fun. It's a fun one. Yeah.
And one more question for you.
Yeah.
Let you go because you are spending your lunch hour talking with me, so I appreciate it. But how fun is this run for you? I mean, last year's run was successful. This year's run, you guys got a little bit of a chip on your shoulder to win the Super Bowl. But all of the hard work you guys put in, all the time you guys spend together, watching it come to fruition the way it is, how fun has this been for you?
Oh, it's awesome. It's incredible. I mean, this is why you coach and play football, is to get to these types of games and opportunities, and they're so hard to get to. So it's fun. And I mean, it's a grind, but you do it because it's your passion and you love it. So I haven't worked a day in my life getting to be able to coach for a living, and it's being able to be with this group of guys. Like I said, our locker room's incredible and our staff's incredible. So we got no egos on staff. Our locker room doesn't have any egos. So it's really, really fun to be a part of the Bengals, because that's just how they run the ship from top to bottom. It's really cool and fun to be a part of.
Frank, I appreciate your time.
You bet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Listen, those video quizzes are no joke. I was talking to Cordell Volson this afternoon in the locker room, and he said that he was sweating bullets when he was first called to go up there in front of all of his peers and ace a video quiz. Even a veteran like Max Sharping, he said the same thing. He said that he was so nervous going up there and doing a video quiz, he forgot to play the video. And of course, every other peer in that room, all of the offensive linemen were ribbing him for that. They all have a lot of fun with it. They all are looking for that competitive edge. Obviously, they're all high competitors, so they compete over every single little thing. If you think they compete over ping pong, they definitely compete over video quizzes, where they are in charge of showing their peers that they know exactly what the other guy next to him is supposed to do as well. Not only their jobs, but also what the next guy's job is too. So great conversation with Frank Pollack. Again, the Cincinnati Bengals heading to their second straight AFC championship and looking to get back to the Super Bowl for a second straight year. They all have a chip on their shoulders. They are used to adversity. They are used to being doubted. No one thought that they would be in the position that they are right now, except for them. And that is very telling about the character, the confidence, and the poise of this locker room and this coaching staff. I'll see you next week.